If all your common knowledge of anime is Demon Slayer, Naruto, Inuyasha, Bleach, One Piece, Fate, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Gundam, My Hero Academia, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Ghost in the Shell, then you're not an anime fan. Normies, stay the F out of anime. What a ridiculously stupid tweet. One that's so ridiculous, we're going to talk about it and a few of this individual's other comments. What's up, comrades? It's me, Nightwolf, and today we're going to be talking about normies. And more specifically, well, not so much normies, I guess is the appropriate term, but we're going to talk about these comments telling the normies to stay out. Now, to kind of start this video off, let me give a little background in history. My first anime that I ever watched growing up as a kid was Dragon Ball Z. And then I moved on to other shows. The Toonami block. I was from the Toonami generation. Just to give people proper context. So things like Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Gundam, and a few of these other shows were very common to me. Some were from the Adult Swim block, which ran at night. There's Gundam, which, as everybody knows, in this wonderful, wonderful little corner of the internet that belongs to me, knows I'm a massive, huge fan of. So, basically, the point is, I started off with just one show that I really liked, and that I was obsessed with. That obsession with that one show made me fall in love with other shows and basically made me move away from Dragon Ball Z as my all-time favorite show of all time and make me obsessed with things like Mobile Suit Gundam, or maybe Fate, My Hero Academia, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Ghost in the Shell, which I don't know if I'd call Ghost in the Shell a normie show. I mean, sure, probably a fair amount of people have been recommended to watch it, which I guess would give people somewhat of an inkling that it is a show for normies. But its themes and what it does is entirely different than what I would consider to be normie. It would be something like the most highly recommended. Like, if you were to if someone asked you, like, what anime should I watch, you're going to pick classics that you think will get them engaged. Like, for myself personally, if someone was to ask me, hey, which anime should I watch that would get me into anime? If someone were to ask me that question, I would say watch Cowboy Bebop. Mainly because it holds a lot of Western themes, and since I live in the US, a more Western-themed show might appeal to them a bit more. Same would go for another show like Trigun. Both are very Western-oriented, and they both did exceptionally well here in the States. Ghost in the Shell included, actually, because I think that one takes a lot of inspiration from Western media as well. But this individual, by the name of Black Sage, on social media and on YouTube and what have you, seems to think that if you only have knowledge of these shows, then you're not an anime fan. I know all these shows. Some better than others. But you're saying that if someone's circular knowledge is only of those particular shows, then they're not allowed in the community, basically. This is an attempt at gatekeeping. Basically, I've been seeing this happen all the time. Everybody seems to think that the best way to, stop bullshit articles from being made, or people with lousy opinions about anime, is to basically prevent them from watching, which is impossible to do. Let's make that abundantly clear. It cannot be done. We cannot stop the normies from coming in and watching a couple of shows. That's like saying that the normies of the MCU can't watch MCU films. Okay? It's just ridiculous. I'm a comic book fan, and I don't like all of the changes and all of the decisions made during the MCU's current generations. I'm not a huge fan of as much of a fan of the MCU as I was when it started. But if their knowledge of comic book characters is based in the MCU, then the only other thing that I can do as a fan who's been a longtime fan of the comics is recommend them some comics. The same goes for the normies here in the anime community. Anime has several different individuals who focus on several different things, especially when it comes to being an anime content creator and what have you. I mean, Black Sage mentions Fate. Well, there are several channels that are wholly dedicated to Fate. I believe his name is Dai. I can always leave a link in the description for his channel. It's almost entirely based on Fate lore, and he does talk about a few current issues in the anime community on occasion, but for the most part, he focuses a lot on the Fate franchise, because it's his favorite. When you have a favorite, that doesn't mean that all the other shows don't get any attention. And even if you're wholly dedicated to one anime, that doesn't make you less of an anime fan. It means you're dedicated to one show or one series. As I just mentioned, and as everybody knows, and I'm repeating myself at this point, massive Gundam nerd here. That means I watch a lot of Gundam. Does that mean that I don't watch other anime shows? Well, no, but my knowledge of anime, especially if we were to say what is my highest strength when it comes to my information and knowledge on anime, Gundam is going to be one of those ones that is going to top the chart way more than, like, let's say Dragon Ball Z or My Hero Academia or any of those other shows. Even though I know about them, I've watched them, I have opinions on them, that does not mean that, I know more about them than somebody who maybe dedicates their entire time and existence to watching something like My Hero Academia. If My Hero Academia is their jam and they watch that and they know everything, or they know a considerable more amount than me, then that means they can teach me something new about the show that I know less about. Now, if we're referring to the normies that write garbage articles, which he points out in his own posts that the reason why he got upset was from a Gamerant article that had to do about Kill la Kill. I have a question. Why are you upset about this article? I hate to tell you this. Well, no, let me rephrase. I don't hate to tell you this, because it's common goddamn knowledge. Most websites, and I do mean that, most, if not all of them, especially those that are owned by major companies, write trash articles. You want to know what's good about that? They're fun to mock. That's it. That's the only benefit that they provide. Because their knowledge base and their information is so lackluster and poor that nobody would take them seriously otherwise. You can make fun of them, you can point out the hypocrisies, especially if they straight up lie about what happens in a show, then yes, feel free to call them out on it. However, the point is that these articles exist. They all exist. I've seen clickbait trash on both sides of these arguments. Both sides. I don't care enough to give them any more than maybe a passing glance and a few chuckles as I laugh at them. There's no point in getting mad over articles. There really isn't. I've read more than enough of trash articles to last me a lifetime. Every now and then I might read one because I might find it funny, and maybe I'll respond to it for like maybe about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'm done. I don't bring it up again. I don't try to rally the troops to get everybody pumped up and pissed, because I don't care enough about that. These people's opinions do not matter. What matters to the anime creators and the manga creators and all that are their sales numbers. That's what matters to them. Not whatever trash article is made by Gamerant or whatever website you're looking at. the companies only care about one thing: making their money. Do that, and the normies have nothing to complain. These particular normies who make trash articles have nothing to complain about. Think about it. Rising of the Shield Hero. Would it have gained the popularity it had if it wasn't for some of the nonsensical controversy that was made because of it? It probably would have went under the radar, but some people were stupid enough to give it attention. And because of that, they Streisand affected it. Doing so benefited the show. If anything, it made them more money. He also mentions things like, if you're mad about what he said, that he doesn't care. Then why did you post this comment? I'm just really curious about that. I've said that before and pretty much regretted it whenever I say it. What I don't care about is people who make garbage takes. I mock them for their bad take. That's normally my go-to defense, is to slightly mock and jeer them for being really stupid. He also mentions that gatekeeping your fandom is a good thing. Okay. Now, I've dealt with this stuff before. Like I said earlier, we've dealt with this. We can't stop gatekeeping. We can't gatekeep. Mainly just because it's kind of impossible to do. All these animes, all the shows, they are open to anyone. Anyone. I mean, even if you don't have money, these shows are open to you. Right? We can't stop them. Just the same as you can't stop me from criticizing maybe a show that you're into, I can't do the same if you criticize a show that I like. I can't stop it. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, you should focus more on trying to maybe get some of those normies on your side. Get those people interested in other shows. Now, some of these individuals who write these articles or who talk about these sorts of things on social media do not understand the Japanese culture. Now, some people on YouTube and whatnot try to think that they know about the Japanese culture. They don't. Unless they've lived in Japan or are well versed and experienced in their culture, they don't. I'm included. Okay? I'm going to make that abundantly clear. I'm included in that topic. I know their culture is different than ours here in the West. That much is obvious. I can't tell you all the cultural differences. I can name some, but that's about all I can do. If people can't handle the cultural differences of Japan, which is the case with some of these individuals, then yes, they probably shouldn't be a part of the community. They probably should not be talking about anime. However, considering that most of these individuals are doing it to get a paycheck, there's not much we can do. Except for maybe laugh at them a bit. Aside from that, I don't really see a solution to this problem. To me, I would much rather try to educate them, if possible, or to try and be as welcoming to the fan bases as I possibly can. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to agree 100% of the time. Trust me, I know it ain't going to happen. But the point is that I'd like to try to be as friendly to newcomers as possible. I want to recommend people's shows if they're new to anime. I have friends in other communities who hear me talk about it all the time, and they sometimes ask me what they might be interested in, or what shows would I recommend. Doesn't always happen, but when it does, I want to welcome those types of individuals. Those who are openly interested in the shows and want to know more. obviously there are going to be some dishonest individuals, I guess is the best way to put it, without saying anything more rude than that. Yes, those people are going to be there. I know that, and there's very little that I can do to stop it. But I don't think calling for gatekeeping is the solution. I really don't. I wish that people would stop using that terminology, honestly. It's benefited no one. All it does is make us seem elitist. That's just the truth of the matter. I'm sorry, but that's the truth in my opinion. I don't want to come off as an elitist. That's not who I am. And I don't want other YouTubers thinking that they're above this type of stuff too, and think that they're elitist because they like more shows than either me or somebody else. That's not their call. Being an elitist is a bad thing, not a good thing. Anyway, that does it for this particular video. If you like this video, you can leave me a like, you can shoot a comment, you can subscribe, you can tell me if I'm wrong in the comments if that's what you wish to do. All those options are there. All I ask is for civil conversation about it. That's all I ask. I'm trying to be as civil as I possibly can, so I think it's only fair that we ask for civility in the comment section. I know there's people out here who don't like some of my opinions, and they're entitled to that. So, there's that. But of course, as always, do not forget to raise your nerd flag high, and I will see you next time. Nightwolf is out.